And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Want to thank everybody who tuned in to the live this past Monday. Like I said, we will try to go live every Monday for now. And hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we'll start having people call in or come up to the show. But anyway, the talk continues, people. The talk continues about what's wrong with the modern NBA and why there's a problem. And one of the things that's been floating around out there that JJ Redick said and different people, and now the latest Channing Frye, believes that it has something to do with how media reports on the NBA. I guess more specifically with Channing Frye is that it's nostalgia that's killing the NBA. It's the fact that people just can't let go of past players. So we're going to check out this article from Sports Illustrated. It says, former NBA player goes on rant about the 80s and 90s era. A former NBA player has a message to fans from the 1980s and 90s. During a podcast appearance, Channing Frye criticized those who claim the league was better back then. Nostalgia is killing the NBA. The 90s basketball era with Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant was not as clean as you think. Y'all forget that Jordan left the league for 2 years. Y'all forget that Kobe, rest in peace, quit on his team in the playoffs and refused to shoot the basketball. So all this talk about Kobe, Jordan, oh, he's not this, he's not that, is propaganda. Frye essentially says you can appreciate your era without trashing players like LeBron, Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, and Victor Wembanyama. Every great player, whether it's Ant, Wemby, LeBron, Steph, whoever, gets compared to players from 40 years ago, Frye said, but the rules weren't even the same back then. You're not really watching help side defense. Who's doing what? What are these rules? Nobody celebrate the new generation of players. So why would anyone want to be the face of the league when every network constantly criticizes them for not being like someone from 40 years ago? It's ridiculous. It's unfair. LeBron is one of the greatest players ever. Steph Curry is one of the greatest players ever. Giannis is one of the greatest. Jokic, same thing. Yet we just keep talking about Michael Jordan. So, again, here we go with the foolishness. First of all, let me say this. Players have always been compared to players of past eras. For some reason, people nowadays don't think so. But players have always been compared to players of past eras until they have proven themselves or made their own mark. This is nothing new in basketball. But however, here's the thing. I want to put something else out here that I believe is a big part of why the ratings are down in the modern NBA and why the talk about the modern NBA gets so much criticism, besides some of the obvious things. Well, let's talk about some of these things. First of all, I've heard some people and podcasters try to say, oh, well, they were complaining about the NBA back in the day about it being too slow. And yes, this is true. However, the fact is, back then, the ratings were still higher than they are now. Even if they were complaining that the game had got too slow because the defense was too heavy, so to speak, the ratings were still better than they are now. And I've said this before, and I will continue to say this. Part of the problem is the Michael Jordan effect. And that is the NBA has been looking to solve a problem that was really about one person. And that is Michael Jordan bought in all the ratings you could ever want. Michael Jordan made the NBA as popular as you could ever want. And when he left the game, his effect on the league left the game. And the NBA has been trying ever since to try to replenish that, to try to bring back that popularity. And it's just not possible unless you find another Michael Jordan. And so, speaking of that, here is the real problem overall. I would say maybe even more so than the watchability of the game, because everybody, you know, we talk about this. The game is hard to watch. There's so many threes going up. And I'm gonna put this out there because I was just watching this podcaster who is a proponent of the modern NBA, who is a fan of the modern NBA, and he was like, well, back in the day they were complaining about it was too much post-ups, and now it's too many threes. Well, the difference is first of all, I actually don't remember them talking about ever that the game had too many post-ups happening. Again, it was about the defense in the low-scoring games. I never heard this thing about there being too many post-ups. But even if you want to say that, the difference is at least in the post-ups, if teams were posting up, that is a direct battle happening that the fans can watch. That is big men down low trying to assert their dominance through physical force. That is much more entertaining than watching someone cross half court and launch up a three, especially when you're talking about a repetitive thing time after time after time, because there is not much resistance at the three-point line. Again, the thing that makes sports exciting is some form of resistance. And in basketball, even Michael Jordan being a two guard, you know, seeing Michael Jordan post up and battle down low, first of all, have to battle just to get the ball, and then battle down low and assert his dominance with the turnaround, with the fadeaway or different footwork Michael Jordan would use in the low post, just like big men who you would have to see them use their footwork. Obviously, Akeem Olajuwon being one of the best to ever do it. But watching a battle down low is much more entertaining because you are actually watching a battle. This is not the case when you're watching teams launch up three-pointer after three-pointer. Again, there's much less resistance at the three-point line. So this is less exciting. So for whatever you want to say about the past NBA, if you thought it was too much post-ups happening, the bottom line is watching post-ups is more entertaining than three-pointers. But let's get to my what I think really is the problem. In basketball, I would argue more so than any other sport, the stars are what really make the game. The stars are what saved the game. The stars are what brought the game to a new level. So when Magic and Bird, who gets credit for saving the NBA, but what really was it about Magic and Bird that saved the NBA? I would argue it's a few things. One, it was the rivalry between East and West, the Lakers versus Celtics. Obviously, there was a race component to it. It was a personality. It was the personality of Magic Johnson being bigger than life, having the Magic Johnson smile, having the charisma. It was both of them not really playing into the race thing. It was combination of skills and being likable players. To me, that's the combination that allowed them to save the NBA. It's the combination that they were exceptional at what they did, and also the fact that they were likable to the fans. People liked Larry Bird. People liked Magic Johnson. Now, again, there were other things at play there, but in general, this is what we're talking about. People, they were exceptional talents, and people liked them. Michael Jordan came along, another exceptional talent, the GOAT. From the very beginning, people saying, hey, I think this is the best guy I've ever seen play basketball. They weren't calling him the GOAT at the beginning, but they were saying from the beginning, hey, I think this guy is the best basketball player I have ever seen. But he still had to prove it. He still had to win. But outside of that, the exceptional talent, being the best basketball player we had ever seen, the other thing is Michael Jordan was likable. He was a likable player. And to me, it took both of these things. The reason why Michael Jordan was able to grow the game to where it was. Now, to me, Kobe held the torch a lot because he was the closest thing to Michael Jordan. But as far as personality-wise, he couldn't really hold it. And I honestly think that is why Kobe never got the credit to the degree in terms of being a face of the league that he should have got. It's because Kobe just, Kobe wasn't that likable media personality. Especially the later it got into his career. At the beginning, everybody loved Kobe because he was this young kid coming up. But as Kobe started to express himself, and of course, we know the thing in Colorado that put a big damper on how the public saw Kobe. But, these things, to me, the fact that Kobe had these things in the background, the Colorado thing happening, the fact that the further he got into his career, he became more, or I should say less friendly with the media. To me, these things played a factor. And obviously, early in Kobe's career, or relatively early in Kobe's career, along comes the Duck. Along comes LeBron James. And here is the real problem with the NBA. Is that LeBron James has been a terrible face of the league. This is the problem with the NBA. And the further we get away from Michael Jordan, the more it highlights how important a good face of the league is. LeBron James has not been a good face of the league. LeBron James arguably is the most unlikable face of the league that there has been. LeBron James gets booed places. I mean, for goodness sake, your face of the league gets booed. Gotten booed at football games. Maybe a couple of times. Your face of the league calls himself the GOAT. Your face of the league, people have to watch this guy have excuses made for him year after year. Your face of the league joins super teams. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to is your face of the league is not likable. And the face of the league is everything. The face of the league is who is represented, is who represents the NBA worldwide. It's who represents the NBA to non-basketball fans. And so if we're talking about why a lot of people don't like the NBA, why the ratings are down, to me, this is a face of the league problem. they're talking about, I was watching, I think maybe a segment of ESPN, and maybe it was, I think they were talking about the Shannon Frye thing, but they were saying that, hey, no wonder nobody wants to be the face of the league, because the face of the league constantly gets compared to past eras. Well, that wouldn't be the case if the face of the league held up the standard. That wouldn't be the case if the face of the league was actually a likable guy. LeBron James is not likable. And the further it has gotten into LeBron James' career, he's become less likable. And so for people who aren't really diehard basketball fans, which the diehard basketball fans, especially if you're talking about the past generations, think the game sucks now. But for people who aren't really diehard basketball fans, they look at this guy who's representing the NBA is like, oh, this entitled, spoiled brat who calls himself the GOAT, who we've seen videos of him getting booed at events, who has flopping compilations out there. Like, this is not a good representation of the NBA. And I think the face of the league has a huge, not only responsibility, but the face of the league has a lot to do with how the NBA is being perceived at the time. It's called the face of the league for a reason. It's called the face of the league for a reason. And if your face of the league isn't likable, that's gonna cast a bad light on the NBA. Like I said, I believe this problem is bigger than even all the rule stuff. I believe it's bigger than the fact that they're chucking up a bunch of threes. I believe it's bigger than the fact that they've made the game easier. I believe it's bigger than all that. I believe the fact that LeBron James is not likable is the biggest problem. That LeBron James, your face of the league, who is supposed to be the ambassador of the NBA, so to speak, this is the biggest problem. Because I believe that even with everything as it is now, even with the game being how it is now, if LeBron James was truly a likable face of the league, if LeBron James was a likable, humble, charismatic face of the league, I believe a lot more people would buy into it. I believe a lot less people would have such a huge problem with it. But your face of the league exhibits is an example of so much more that's wrong with the NBA than just the game itself. Again, your face of the league shows there's an entitlement problem with the NBA. Your face of the league helped usher in this entitlement problem with the NBA. But anyway, we're going to hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is nostalgia ruining the NBA? Is it the fact that they keep comparing players to past eras? Or, like I said, is it the fact that they have always done that in basketball? They were comparing first of all, they were comparing Michael Jordan to Larry Bird and Magic, and they were comparing Michael Jordan to Dr. J. Like, it's the fact that the face of the league has not upheld the standard. And the face of the league, again, he's representing the whole NBA. If your face of the league, like I said, Larry and Magic were able to save the league because of their skill, but because they were also two very likable people. Michael Jordan took the NBA to another level because his skill was on another level and because his charisma was on another level as well. Michael Jordan was a very likable face of the league. And the reason the NBA is in the state that it is now is because LeBron James is not. LeBron James has not upheld the standards of previous faces of the league in any kind of way. Not from a competitive standpoint, and definitely not from, like I said, being humble, being likable, you know, just representing himself in the best light. Despite what you LeBron James fanboys think. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly, truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.